Sixth from Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So today's my topic is about HTML tables. So defining a HTML tables. So an HTML table is defined with the table tag. Each table row is defined with the tr tag, and each table header is defined with the th tag. And by default, table headings are bold and centered. And also the table data or cell is defined with td tag, and all the contents in the table are within row, that is the tr element and the dataset td element. So we'll see the example. This is a basic example. So here I have not included the header section, but header section contains all the styling, the tables. So in the body section, we include the table tag, and we include the TR/TD elements. So TR indicates row and TD indicates the column. So you can see the output of this. Next is adding borders to the HTML table. So we can add borders, that is different types of borders, and we can add collapsed borders, and also we can add border colors. So for adding borders, use the css border property, and you can see the syntax. So table comma th comma td and border 1 pixel solid black. So it creates a table, sorry, it creates a border. And adding collapse border. So when we want the borders to collapse into one border, we use the CSS property called border collapse property, and you can also see the syntax. Next is adding border colors. So with the border color property, you can set the color of the border. So here is the code. When we don't add the border collapse property, we get the output, that is the first picture. So that is for one border for a table, and again a border for each cell. So when we want to collapse the borders, we add border collapse property, and we get the output which is in the second picture. And also to add the color, we have used border color properties, and the remaining is the next is adding border spacing to table and adding cell padding to the table. So border spacing specifies the space between cells. To set the border spacing for a CS for a table, we must use a CSS border spacing property, and the syntax is here. So table border spacing 5 pixel. So these things should be added in the header section. Then border cell padding to the table. Cell padding specifies the space between the cell content and its border. So if we do not want to, if we do not specify any padding, the table cell will be displayed without padding. That is, no space will be um, there between the borders and the contents. So syntax for this is th comma td and the property padding 15 pixel. Next is adding round table borders. So when we want the borders to be round one, we use round, that is border radius property to get the rounded corners. So and the syntax is here. And when we add only the border and the border radius property, obviously we get two borders, that is one border is for table and another border is for each cell. So when we want only the cells, so that is when we want to skip the border around the table by leaving out the table from the css selector, so we can use the syntax th comma td and the border pixel. And adding dotted borders, so we can add different types of borders. That is, borders, using border style property we can set the appearance of the border. So different types of border is dotted borders, dashed borders, solid borders, double, groove, rigid, inset and outset. So the syntax for that is border style, dotted property. Next is adding background color to the table. So when we want a table to be colored, so we use a background color property. So that is background color hash F2 F2 D1, which is cream color. So and table hash D1 is nothing but an ID. So we'll see an example with that. And adding caption to the table. So whenever we want the caption for a table, we use the caption tag and the relevant syntax is provided. So this is the example. Here we have used table ID is equal to T01. That is the ID number. So in the style we have used hash T01, that is ID, and THTD. So and we have added the border collapse and background color properties. So we have got the background with the cream color, and also we have added the caption, that is details, and we have got details as a caption that is above the table as in the output. So this is the code. Next is HTML table sizes. So HTML tables can have different sizes for each column, row or the entire table. And the use style attribute with the width and height properties to specify the size of the table, row or column. So with the width and height properties, you can set the different sizes of the table. That is one column with the large width or one row with the large height. So to set that, we see to set the width of the table, add the style property to the table element. So when we want to set the width of complete table, we use table style is equal to width 100%. So this is the syntax for setting width of the table. Next is setting the size of a specific column. So we add the style attribute to on th or td element, and the relevant syntax is there. Next, to set the height of a specific row, we add the style property, sorry, attribute on a table row element. That is tr style is equal to height 200 pixel. So this is the syntax. We'll see the example of this. So this is the example. We have set the border and we have collapsed the border. That is, we have included in style header section. Then body. So in body, the table style width is 100% and the column style is equal to height 50 pixel. So we can see that the first row is larger compared to the other two rows, and also the first column, first name is the width of that column is larger compared to other two columns, that is the last name and age columns. So for that we have used th style is equal to width 70% first name. Since it is a header, we have used we have added the style property in table header. So this is the output of this code. Next is row span and the column span. So adding cells that span many columns in HTML table. To that is to make a cell span more than one column, we must use the column span. So for that, syntax is td call span is equal to 2 xyz td. So this call span equal to 2 makes column two columns as one column. Then adding cells that span many rows in the HTML table. That is, to make the cell span more than one row, we must use the row span attribute. So row span attribute spans the two rows. So this is the syntax for row span and column span. We'll see the code for this and one example. So this is an example. Here, the first column covers the two rows, and the first row, second column, covers the second row two columns. So the code is, see, TD row span is equal to 2 1 TD. That is, first column is covering the next two columns of two rows. And next TD call span 2 is equal to 2 and the closing tag. So the next column is covering the next row two columns. So this is first, and next tr td3 slash td td4 slash td, that is the next columns. So this is an example here where we can use row span and column span to cover more cells. Next is HTML table styling. So HTML table, that is zebra strips. So if you want an add a background color on other table row, so you get a nice zebra strips effects. That is alternative rows and columns. So to style the every other table row element, we use nth child even selector. And also note that if you use odd instead of even, the style will occur on row uh, 1, 3, 5, etc. instead of 2, 4, 6, etc. And also use an RGBA color to specify the transparency of the color. So when we want background color to be transparent, we have to use RGBA. And we'll see the example of this. So this is the example um, where we have used TR and the child even, background color RGBA, and this is the properties. So we have got the background color for alternative rows, that is the second row and fourth row, and second column, fourth column, sixth column, so on. So this is the code for this. This is the end of the video, guys. Thank you for watching it. I hope you guys liked it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.